He is shocking the entire MLB as following what has been a crazy year for Max Scherzer and the Toronto Blue Jays. He is now doing things that are not only insane given his age, but he continues to shock everybody every 5 days. And for the first time in a very long time, he came out and revealed some very wild information surrounding not only injuries he was dealing with, but what that means going forward for the rest of this Blue Jays season. We're going to break that down and discuss many other Jays updates on this episode, folks. But before we get into it all, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Jays content. Your guys' support's been absolutely unbelievable. It truly means the world to me. You guys have been absolute beasts with the support. And as the Jays continue to roll, you guys are continuing to roll with the support. So thank you guys for that. Folks, a lot to go over today. And we're going to be focusing on Max Scherzer as well as an update on George Springer and a little bit of a Trey Savage tidbit at the end. But folks, I want to highlight Max Scherzer now. I wasn't around for a post-game video yesterday. I did watch the entire game. And Max Scherzer, what an outing. 41 years old. And shout out to Avery here. You can see Max Scherzer's last 3 starts, 19 innings, 16 hits, 13 strikeouts, and a 1.89 ERA. And the reason I want to bring this up today is because he came out and revealed some interesting comments following that start about his thumb and about everything here. As we inch closer and closer to the playoffs, and we can, not going to, count my eggs before they hatch here too far, but we can, we're at a point now where we can start to foreshadow the playoffs a little bit. Max Scherzer is doing things we have barely ever seen for someone his age. His last 6 starts, he's pitched 37 innings. His velocity is at 94, which is, unheard of for someone 41 years old. But we're at a point, at least, for the, especially for someone who's dealing with injuries, right? And we're at the point now where for the Toronto Blue Jays, this changes everything going forward as Max Scherzer is only now starting to get fully healthy. He's now starting to find his stride. And we're seeing Cy Young caliber Max Scherzer turning back the clock, heading into the most crucial stretch of games that we've seen in what you could argue is since 2015, 2016 regular season, because you're competing for a division now, and you have Max Scherzer doing unbelievable things. Like yesterday, we saw him absolutely dominate. Got brought out, convinced John Schneider and Pete Walker, guilt tripped them almost into throwing him out there for the 8th inning, gives up that leadoff double. Ultimately, Brendan Little comes in, a bit of a wild game, gets the job done. The bullpen does, and the Jays win the game. But to have Max Scherzer now, who potentially has propelled himself into the number 1 option for starting a playoff game, which is crazy. And let me know down below, who would you be your number 1 starter, your number 2 starter, your number 3 starter? If let's say a series starter right now, I'd probably still lean Kevin Gausman 1, Scherzer 2, but it's gotten close, and Scherzer is absolutely going to be one of the starters, bearing Shane Bieber and seeing how he does. But man, oh man, and we're going to dive into some of the updates in a minute. It is truly incredible. And I want to bring up this pitch chart and the spray chart from yesterday's game. Look at all the strikes he's throwing. Command has been the only issue for Max Scherzer, as he started to ramp up, spring training, all these different things, because the most important thing was A, getting his thumb right, but B, the stuff was always there. The velo was always, fairly there, especially for his time so far with the Jays. Even dating back to spring training, when we first saw him in his first start, the velo was always, hovering around 92 to 94, 91 a little bit, the occasional 90. He's back up now. He's throwing strikes. His command is exactly where it needs to be. And that's what is the difference maker. His command is bullseye. He's throwing a ton of strikes, which allows him to get into the 8th inning. Folks, we're talking about Max Scherzer getting into the 8th inning. Think about how many starts he missed this year. He came back. We were talking about getting 4 or 5 innings out of him. We were all, myself included, referring to him as like a bit of a short starter now because of his thumb issue, all these different things. That is not only behind him. He is efficient. He is attacking the zone, and he's doing things that I don't think even the most optimistic Jays fan would have expected over his last 6 starts. And now at this point, even the season numbers are starting to look really, really good. And when you have a struggling guy like José Berríos, even struggling a little bit in the not in big games necessarily, the Walker game a little bit. You can blame John Schneider, all these different things, home openers, season openers, rather, struggling a little bit. I don't know if I trust Berríos in a playoff game. I trust Max Scherzer in a playoff game every day of the year. And he said yesterday on today's win, kept telling myself, we're not going to lose this game 1-0. I'm not losing this game in a solo shot. And he didn't. He did his job. He got the job done. And over the last 3 starts, 1.89 ERA. Over the last 6 starts, he's holding his opponents to a 693 OPS with a 0.95 whip, which is walks and hits per innings pitched. So his command is bullseye. And he came out and revealed how he's feeling after all this. And he said 2 thumbs up. Well, John Schneider said regarding him, 2 thumbs up, holding up both thumbs as a wink to the conversations we're no longer having about Scherzer's right thumb. It's just nice to talk about the game planning, knowing that you have Max Scherzer, who's confident in his stuff. It's been a long road to get here. He's worked really hard to get here. It's nice to watch him compete. There aren't many guys like that. And obviously, Max Scherzer came out, following his last start and spoke out and revealed that his thumb is now basically 100% of, not maybe not 100%, but 100% of where he expects it, to be able to get to, because of course he's 41 years old. And for John Schneider to come out and say this again after last start is crucial. And Scherzer spoke out about his game plan a little bit. And he said that he knew the Cubs were going to come out swinging. His plan, let them. I was anticipating them to come out aggressive. And man, they came out even more aggressive than I thought. And let's not forget, I believe the first pitch of the game yesterday, similar to what we saw against Kevin Gausman, was a flyout. So came down to got to locate these pitches. They're going to be okay. They're making some outs, and that kept my pitch count in check. Let me be even more fine in those early counts. And man, oh man, is Max Scherzer an absolute dog. And again, he's a beast. I mean, he's a beast. He's an animal. He's whatever you want to call it. He said he was waiting for someone to come through for them. Vladdy, the clutch 2-run home run. This team is firing on all cylinders, and you're heading into now the most brutal stretch. I mean, we're already in the midst of one of the most brutal stretches, especially for facing regular or starting pitchers in the regular season. You have DeGrom. You have Nathan Eovaldi a couple days after. And of course, you have Paul Skeens on the Monday. So it's not going to be easy, but reinforcements are on the way. George Springer played in his rehab game yesterday, went 1 for 2 with a rocket double, which is huge because obviously most of the time, these results don't matter. And I'm not saying AAA results matter. The fact that he got a hit, the fact that he hit it so hard, and he was crushing balls before he got, placed in the IL concussion protocol. There's a chance we see him tomorrow and activated tomorrow. And if that's the case, I will be elated. I will be over the moon getting him back for this big series here against the Texas Rangers, who are low-key starting to scuffle a little bit. I believe they're only 1 game above 500 now. They were 6 games above 500 fairly recently. Their offense has taken a big plummet. Obviously, their pitching staff is still elite. I mean, George Springer's an animal. I really hope he's going to be back tomorrow, and that would be best case scenario. There is a chance he plays one more game in the outfield and comes back maybe for the next series on Monday or even sooner than that, depending on how things go. But really good news here for George Springer, and it's been a loaded Buffalo Bison's lineup. Shane Bieber pitches today. I'm going to be looking out for that because, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? Shane Bieber is probably going to be pitching his last game with the Buffalo Bisons, and then he's going to be coming to the Toronto Blue Jays, we assume, for the next round go. So man, this is an exciting time to be a Jays fan. The most exciting regular season we've had, arguably ever to this date. And obviously not ever, but since, 2015, even before 2015, really since, let me know down below where you're kind of at regarding the excitement so far. I think this is better in 2015 as of right now, just the way the whole season has went. Obviously 2015 after the deadline. In my lifetime, this has been the most exciting regular season since 2015 at the very least, and probably even before that, of course, as well. And speaking of excitement going forward, we have a little bit of an update here on Trey Savage. Struggled a little bit. He went 1 2/3, 1 hit, 2 runs, 4 walks, 3 Ks. If you've been following the channel, if you've been following Trey Savage like we have been, he struggles every single time he goes to a new level. He walks a ton, whether it's jitters, whether it's the way it is. He always does this. He still got 3 Ks. He started to settle in. Not the ideal start that we wanted from him, especially for someone who's, knocking on the door of the big leagues, but he struggles every time with command. Give him 1 or 2 more starts. His command will get locked in. Then he'll continue to fly through with his 15 Ks per 9 like he did over the past, little bit for the AA guys before, of course, he locked in for, the AAA level. So let me know down below what your thoughts are. A lot of stuff coming, folks. Let me know who your 3 starters would be. And most importantly, what your thoughts are on Max Scherzer shocking the entire